Babe, it's 3 p.m! Time for a new Chug Vanet mold! That's right, when I began writing this script, the new Studio Series 86 Voyager-class Ironhide had just been officially revealed, after being leaked, like nearly everything else these days. Supposedly, the new figure is meant to end a long string of disappointing or downright awful updates to the beloved G1 character and also Ratchet. From the quite intriguing Generation 1 figure, long derided for being inaccurate to the cartoon despite that not being its fault, to the bizarre Universe 2008 figure riddled with ugly panel lines and clearance issues, to the pretty alright Cybertronian Siege take that was hastily morphed and augmented into the clumsy and somewhat rare Earthrise iteration, Studio Series will hopefully put collectors' woes to rest once and for all. You know, until they make the next one that's only marginally better. At any rate, I had decided to sell off some of my War for Cybertron vans in anticipation of the new release, only keeping Crosshairs, that Netflix drone, and the subject of today's review. I figured that since my review of Earthrise Ratchet was mostly just Mav and I slagging each other off for 15 minutes while also plagiarizing American Psycho, one last retrospective might do us all some good. Welcome to Kit Reviews. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Select's Deluxe Class Shattered Glass Ratchet. This figure was released in 2020 as part of an online exclusive 2-pack, and is a redeco of Earthrise Deluxe Ratchet, itself a major retool of Siege Deluxe Ironhide. Now that Shattered Glass has moved from a one-off Selects 2-pack into its own exclusive subline, I feel it's reasonable to say that I don't really like the overwhelming prevalence of same character redecos in it. Part of the appeal of Shattered Glass for me was creative repurposing of whatever molds Hasbro had lying around at the time to represent twisted versions of beloved characters, with some exceptions. Stuff like turning Cybertron Crosswise into Jazz, Evac into Galvatron, and Hotshot into Goldbug were inspired. In Ratchet's case, his Fun Publications design was a virtual retool of Energon Roadblock, who turned into a crane truck that looks sort of like an ambulance if you really squint hard enough. While characters like Optimus Prime, Starscream, and Rodimus were all repainted from their own figures, it would have been nice to see some true creativity again now that Shattered Glass has a proper toy line. That being said, Ratchet does a good job at making his ambulance mode look as unhelpful and hopeless as possible. It's cast in the same, or at least similar, white as his Earthrise version, which I've since sold, so I can't make too fine a comparison, but the only trace of red left on him is his painted light bar. His stripe is instead rendered in a cynical slate gray. A more noticeable change lies in the translucent plastic, which are now in such a gloomy teal as to resemble Listerine. I can almost smell the mint coming off him. His feet are still plainly visible at the rear, cast in a very distractingly bright turquoise. There's some proper context to it, but I'll save that for robot mode. The swivel joints on Ratchet's front windows are even tighter here than they were on the Earthrise figure, making them even more frightening to get out of the way to start his transformation. Why his shoulders were given such large notches, or why the windows have tabs to fit under them, I'll never know. This being my 6th experience with the mold, and my 3rd with it as Ratchet specifically, the scheme is anything but difficult. Besides those front windows I mentioned, there's not even any quality control issues to worry about like there were on the original Siege Ironhide. Ratchet here is as solid as you can reasonably expect. My copy even improves on Earthrise Ratchet. Slotting the windshield into its robot mode position is nowhere near as concerning as it was before. The most striking thing you'll notice about Ratchet's robot mode is all this newly revealed turquoise that I mentioned earlier. While bright and garish, this is meant to be evocative of common hospital scrubs, playing to Ratchet's medicinal role. If anything, this provides him an even more threatening presence. We know he's an evil Autobot, but he presents himself as a good doctor. I don't know about you, but I'm fairly certain he's at fault for the recent pandemic. Actually, no. If he was in charge, it would have been a lot more gruesome. All in all, while you're completely free to call Ratchet garish or ugly, I think his new deco was successful in what it was trying to accomplish. It's topped off with Ratchet's stone gray mug, with his dead red eyes staring unfeelingly at whomever might be so unlucky as to find himself in his care. It's easy to find new context for his accessories. The infamous sled he comes with can be repurposed as a makeshift hospital bed or stretcher, with the fold-out panels acting as a facsimile for restraints. Really, the only limit here is the depth of your own sick imagination.
Did someone say sick?
What was once a generic blaster could be any number of nasty and unsanitized medical instruments, like a cybertronian syringe, or a flashlight, or a rectal thermometer. Ratchet was by no means a figure I wanted to buy. He was simply stuck in the same box as the thing I actually wanted. Sort of like the toy deco Scorponok in that new buzzworthy 4-pack. I really hate it when they do that. Anywho, writing this review actually gave me a deeper appreciation of this thing I had barely even paid attention to until now. He's not great by any means. There's a reason I sold off my Earthrise Ratchet and both Siege vignettes after all. Still, I feel Shattered Glass Ratchet has proven to be packed with enough character to warrant staying in my collection for the foreseeable future. Like his predecessor, he's still only good enough to earn him the rank of tragic. As for Shattered Glass as a whole, I don't think I'll be partaking. I was only after one figure to begin with, and he will be the target of my next review. This has been Kit Katastrophe. Transform and roll out.